Hello again, and welcome to another session of A Pause for Poetry. As you can see, I'm outside enjoying the nice sunshine. That's fairly limited most of the time. Just to talk a little bit more about the book there, it's 100 pages. I dedicated it to my dad, who sadly passed away last year, and the first four poems in the book are dedicated to him, as is the book itself. So, just the topics of the book, as I said, they're ranging from my own personal experience, world affairs, current affairs, news, everything that happens in the world, and literally just this, which I wrote a couple of poems. It's near the back. It's in the last chapters of the book that I put together, and this is one called "In Summer Days Gone By," which the especially this time of year, we'd like the summer to stick around a little bit longer, with the nights drawn in and kids going back to school and all that kind of stuff, and the weather going back to its usual. So anyway, this is called in the Summer's Days Gone By. The summertime casts back my mind to great days where memories bind. The days never seem to end, fishing in the river, rod starting to bend. Sunshine brought about eternal bliss, those treasured days we now reminisce. Farmers meeting after 11 o'clock mass, give us a hand to knock some grass. Looking at the sky with disdain, for God's sake no feckin' sign of rain. We all meet up, the usual gang, on the way to the river, sometimes we sang. The carefree days of the young, songs of old were usually sung. Tonight is the first round of the cup, we'll have to see who'll turn up. We never knew what was in store, talk about the future, don't make me snore. Jump in the water, the cold would hit, it'll be grand once you get used to it. Anyway, scream and shout, a fight might break out, nothing serious is what it's all about. Playing Cork on Sunday, do you think we'll win? To say no would be a sin. Those days we look back with a reflective tear, got to be the best time of the year. So yeah, there's again, that's like days, school days, and summers. Summers when we were all young, and especially in the 80s. There was no internet, iPhones, computers were for business people and the nerds and geeks and all that kind of stuff. Now everyone has a computer. I'm talking to you on a computer, so it's just to bring back a little bit of the past, and I think with the poems too, a lot of people can relate as well to the poems and bring back a little bit of their childhood, whether it's from the 60s, 70s, the 80s, and even into the 90s, before all the technology took over. I'm not one to knock the technology, but we all see the dark side, and social media at times is a minefield. So especially coming into autumn there, because this is the last week of August, and coming into September and that. So we're all kind of thinking towards the hot chocolate and the fires and and the heating island and all that kind of stuff. So this is one again. It's the next poem on from the one I just read you. It's called A Change of Season. So again, this is just as the title says, just a change of season. That it'll. I think when we're all in the moment, we don't realise, but it's when we look back on it, and especially, going to school myself, and most people that watch this, they weren't the worst times. At the time, we thought, it was the end of the world, and we had to go to school for, whatever it was, 5 or 6 hours a day, and being told what to do and get shouted at and roared at and all the rest. But with this one in particular, it's just it was the kind of a change. Just something I noticed myself, and we all kind of can relate to, the change of season. It's like a milestone in every year or whatever, and then it's when we look back, we don't notice them when we're in the moment or in the kind of the transition from one season to another. But I think back in the day, when we look back, all the crazy days of going to school and, you know, uh, from t-shirts and shorts back into the school uniforms and all this kind of stuff. So this is this is more like a weather kind of observation, a weather poem, if um, if you like. So this is called A Change of Season. The evenings have begun to draw in. Winter is autumn's next of kin. The darkness subsides to reveal a short daylight, feeling the north winds bite. The winter woolies are down from the attic. A harsh breeze causes a motion of static. Head down, get where you're going. Would have stayed at home if I was in the knowing. Leaves scatter all around the ground. The natural litter is everywhere to be found. The landscape covered in a glistening white, leaves behind by the dead of night. The summer is now a memory with its cool shade. There is an unmistakable tint of jade. Dark clouds gather to deliver its contents. The mountains take shape like snow-covered tents. It is not all dark and foreboding. The joy of nature is there for decoding. The fireside is a welcome haven. Feel the dusk as dark as a raven. So again, that's just another way of my way of putting, we'll say, our natural occurrences into a bit of poem and a bit of verse and stuff like that. So you kind of get a feel for the kind of the motivation, the inspiration, and that behind the poetry that I write. So as I say, yeah, it's if you're liking the videos, if you like the poems, it's available on Amazon and Kindle, and paperback and download. So yeah, it's only €7, €6.99. So it's a nice little cheap trip down memory lane, which a lot of the poems are in the book. And again, it's apart from memories, there's always some outstanding event, whether a crisis or troubles or whatever. And as I say, in my lifetime, remember from the 80s and the 90s and into the 2000s and up until recently. So I hope you buy the book, and I hope you enjoy it. And I'll talk to you again very soon. Thank you, and have a great day.